Today's topic is a bit different from our usual mindfulness content, but it's something that we all need to be mindful about, and that's microaggressions. Those passing comments or seemingly harmless questions, or what you might call a stupid joke that seems very trivial at first, but after a while they add up to create some very real consequences over time. So, we're going to dive into what microaggressions are and how they affect us and what we can do to kind of fight back against them. Start by explaining what microaggressions are. They are those indirect, often unintentional acts of discrimination. And they come in the form of offhanded remarks or seemingly innocent questions, jokes that belittle or stereotype someone based on their race, gender, sexuality, or other aspects of their identity. For example, asking someone, well, where are you really from? Or saying something like, oh, you speak English so well. It seems like innocent curiosity, but oftentimes it carries underlying assumptions and biases. Some other common examples is the statement, well, you don't look gay, which assumes that there is a specific way someone from the LGBTQ plus community should present themselves. Or the classic, you're so articulate, said in a tone of surprise to a black person or a person of color, implying that somehow eloquence is unexpected from people who look like them. And these little acts of discrimination might seem harmless on their own, but over the years, they tend to snowball into significant psychological and emotional distress. So let's get into. I honestly think that racial microaggressions are the ones that we see the most and can point them out pretty easily. They are particularly pervasive. Comments like, oh, you're pretty for a black girl, or I don't see you as Asian, I just see you as you. These things can be pretty damaging. These statements, while often intended as compliments, actually reinforce some very harmful stereotypes and invalidate the person's racial identity. Another example is when someone assumes a person of color is a service worker or asks them to speak on behalf of the entirety of a race, which can be both belittling and exhausting. Imagine being on the receiving end of these comments day after day. It can lead to feelings of isolation, lowered self esteem, and even anxiety or depression. Microaggressions chip away at a person's sense of belonging, and it creates a hostile environment, whether it be at work, school, or in other social study settings. So let's talk about how we begin to fight back against microaggressions. I personally think that the first step to fighting back against microaggressions is having awareness, recognizing that these seemingly small interactions can have a really big impact is very important. So pay attention to the language that you use and the questions that you ask. If you're not sure whether something might be offensive, it's better to err on the side of caution. Educating ourselves and others about the nature of microaggressions also helps to reduce their occurrence. Next, it's important to call out microaggressions when we see, hear, or experience them. This doesn't have to be some big negative, all out confrontational brawl. It can be something as simple as just saying, I know you may not have meant it this way, but that comment can be very hurtful. By addressing these actions directly, we begin to raise awareness and encourage more mindful behavior in people. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels as if they are being respected and valued. support systems play a significant role in combating the effects of microaggressions. Also, if you're on the receiving end, talking to friends, family, or a support group can help you to process your feelings and find strength. Allies, people who stand up against discrimination, even if they are not directly affected, are vital. Which is why I can't stand it when we see someone who is maybe like rich or famous or whatever, and they are performing acts of allyship where they speak out and speak against harmful behaviors. And then you get the peanut gallery saying things like, oh, well, you're rich, so you don't even experience this. Like, it's vital that people, even people who don't have to have these personal experiences, speak out against these things, because it's obvious that those who are victimizing others are not actually listening to the victims, because if you were, you wouldn't be doing it in the first place. But I digress. um, these people who are not affected can use their voices to amplify concerns and push for the change. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I encourage it. A lot of people encourage it. Another key aspect is policy and systemic change. Workplaces and institutions can implement programs that address diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I hate to break it to you, but DEI is not another way of just saying black people. We have got to unlearn that. I don't know where or how you all came to that conclusion, but it's not true, and you know it's not true, especially considering the current climate we're in. They keep saying they're getting rid of DEI, but you don't see many black people being affected by it. So there's that. Policies that clearly define and address microaggressions are going to create a safer and more supportive environment for everyone. So we have to start encouraging open dialogue and creating spaces for people to share their lived experiences. This is going to foster understanding and empathy. In the end, microaggressions might seem like a small thing, but their impact is gigantic. By becoming aware of these subtle forms of discrimination, calling them out, supporting each other, and advocating for systemic change, we're going to be able to work better together to create a more inclusive and respectful world. So, yeah, stop using microaggression. Thank you for joining me in this important conversation. If you've experienced or witnessed microaggressions, feel free to share your stories and thoughts in the comment section. Let's continue to educate ourselves and each other and work towards a society where everyone feels seen and respected. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that notification bell for more content on social issues and personal growth. Until next time, let's keep fighting the good fight.
And twist myself at the spine.